Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about topic sentences and concluding sentences, specifically for the type of writing that you'll do in a lot of English and language arts classes, and this is literary analysis. So let's dive in to what to do with a topic sentence and a concluding sentence. All right, what is a topic sentence? We are talking about topic sentences in terms of the body paragraphs of your essay. So these are usually placed near the beginning of the paragraph or the very first sentence of that paragraph. It's going to introduce the subject or the topic of the paragraph. It's going to include a main idea that the rest of the paragraph is going to explain. That main idea should be analysis, meaning your insight, your observations, the main thing that you're going to essentially prove or support in the rest of that body paragraph. There might be a transition word or a phrase in this topic sentence, especially if it's in the middle of the essay. And then it's going to tie back to the thesis statement of the essay. Now, some teachers will call this topic sentence the claim sentence or make a claim or the main point. These are all used pretty interchangeably in terms of literary analysis. So if your teacher calls it make a claim or claim, just know that we are talking about the same thing here because it's going to function in the same way. Okay, a few things that a topic sentence is not. It's not a summary of the story. It's not several facts about the story. And then it's not vague or unclear, leaving the reader wondering what will be discussed. In literary analysis and in many types of writing, we want the reader to know what's happening and what's going to happen. So we want to make things very clear and organized, and a topic sentence is one way to keep things clear and organized and to keep your reader happy. Now, if you're doing a theme analysis or a character analysis, your topic sentence is going to include some reference to that theme or that character. Again, this is just the concept of going back to that thesis statement and making sure that each of your body paragraphs is supporting that thesis statement, whether you're doing a theme analysis or character analysis or some other type of analysis. All right, so let's look at a few examples for these topic sentences. We always want to have a subject, and we always want to have analysis in that topic sentence. So these are fairly simple and straightforward, but it can show you how we're setting these topic sentences up. So for this one, our subject is the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, and then our analysis is the part that says reveals that love cannot conquer all odds. So Shakespeare's play, The Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, reveals that love cannot conquer all odds. So in this body paragraph, the writer is probably then going to go into some specific evidence and analysis about the love that these characters have and how it does not conquer all odds. It ends up falling short and, the results are tragic. So they're going to give specific evidence, specific examples and analysis, but this topic sentence shows the reader where they're going in that body paragraph. Here's another example from a short story. Eugenia Collier's short story Marigolds, that's our subject, shows that the transition from childhood to adulthood comes with struggle. So in this body paragraph, the writer would probably then go into a few specific examples of the struggles that come with going from childhood to adulthood, and analysis on why those are important, why they matter. Now, in both of these examples, you could actually use either of these really as an entire thesis statement for a paper, or you could use them for a topic sentence, just depending on what you're doing. If you're just writing a paragraph or if you're writing an entire essay, you just want to make sure that what you have introduced in this topic sentence or this make a claim sentence, that you actually fully support in the rest of that paragraph. All right, so let's try one more. Now, if you are in a classroom setting or if you have somebody near you that you can turn and talk this out with, then by all means, go ahead and do that. If you are on your own, then just think about it in your mind or jot down some notes. So look at these. Which one of these is better for a topic sentence in a literary analysis type of paper? Option A says, in the dystopian novel The Giver, Lewis Lowry emphasizes the significance of collective responsibility for the preservation of a community. That's option A. Option B says, in Lewis Lowry's dystopian novel The Giver, protagonist Jonas grapples with his newfound role as a memory keeper for a society that may not be as perfect as it seems. So which of those sentences is more effective for setting up a paragraph that is going to analyze this topic in this book? You can pause the video here and think about that for just a minute if you choose. All right, so the better option is option A here. And the reason is because this sentence discusses a theme that could apply outside of literature. It's not just a summary sentence of the plot. So you can do a lot of analysis with this topic sentence, whereas the other topic sentence option, option B, is really just more of a plot summary, even though it's written very nicely and it's got some good verbs in there. Grapples, that's a great verb. But ultimately, it is just a summary of the plot, and it doesn't set you up well to write an entire paragraph on that topic. Because really all you could do here with this is just talk about Jonas and how he's struggling with this thing that he's going through. That's not really going to be a strong analysis. It's really going to turn into a plot summary. So you want to make sure that your topic sentence has analysis that you can then dive into, dig into, and really fully explain with your insights, observations, and opinions. Okay, so now it's your turn. You can pause the video here and think about this a little bit. Jot down some possible topic sentences that you might use in the essay that you have been assigned. Remember that you want to have a subject. This might be the title of the story you've discussed. If you're in the middle of an essay, it might just be the character or something that a piece of that character, a strength or a struggle or something like that. Any of those things could be the subject. And then your analysis, which is then what you're going to dig into in the rest of that body paragraph. So you can use this sentence frame if you would like, use verbs like emphasizes, highlights, reveals, anything like that can set you up well for a strong topic sentence. You can pause the video here and work on a few different possibilities, see how they come out, and then start the video back up again. Okay, so hopefully you came up with a few good ideas there. Here's one example just before we move on to the next part of the video, which is concluding sentences. So this one is a little bit different because I'm in the middle of an essay and I'm writing about Edmond Dantes from the film Count of Monte Cristo. So here my subject is Edmond Dantes suffering. That's functioning as my subject. And then my analysis, I go on to say here, causes him to seek revenge, which affects many aspects of his identity. So this gives me a lot to say in this paragraph because I'm going to go into specific examples about how it affects his personality, different interactions maybe he has with other characters, maybe how he responds to different situations in his life. And then I'm going to analyze why that's important and what that reveals and some deeper truths there. And I've got a lot of insights and ideas, and I've got this really well set up with this topic sentence to go into a beautiful analytical paragraph. All right, let's jump in now to what is a concluding sentence. This is a bit simpler than a topic sentence, so this part's going to go a bit faster. But a concluding sentence, it should be brief. It should signal in some way the end of the topic discussion to the reader. So kind of start wrapping it up. It might repeat the subject or the topic of the paragraph, but you don't want it to be repetitive or redundant. You might transition to a new idea if this is not the last sentence of the essay, and you will probably try to get a transition word or phrase in there somewhere just because that helps with overall organization. A few things that the concluding sentence is not or should not do. We don't want it to repeat the exact same statement as the topic sentence. So beware of that. We don't want it to introduce new information or evidence. We don't want to talk about a new topic, and we don't want to give plot details. So those are a few things to avoid. Let's look at a few examples and see how this really works out. So let's say, again, I'm writing a paper about Edmond Dantes and the Count of Monte Cristo, and I'm talking about revenge and all these things. This could be a concluding sentence to one of my body paragraphs. Clearly, Edmond's revenge fuels his transformation into the Count, which gives him power and control, but it also isolates him emotionally. Now, this does a few things. We've got a few transition words, and we're wrapping up what we have talked about in that body paragraph. We've probably talked about in that body paragraph revenge and how this has affected him, the ways in which this has given him power and control, and how that has transformed him as a person. But then this might also be setting us up for the next topic, which is how it's isolating him. So here is that concept broken down a little bit more. Our transition phrase is just clearly, our transition word is just this one word here. And you don't always have to have an entire transition phrase. Sometimes a word just works. We are restating the theme in a non-repetitive way. We're talking about power and control and what's been going on here with revenge, power, and control, this whole idea. And then we are actually linking to the next point that we're going to start making in the next paragraph, which is his emotional isolation. Now, you don't necessarily have to start going into the next point. This really depends on several factors, what you've done in that paragraph, what you're doing in the next paragraph. But sometimes it can help it really flow well together if you are able to start bridging in to that next point. Now, again, some teachers call this the concluding sentence. Some teachers might call this the link sentence because you are trying to start linking it into your next body paragraph. But the same concept here with we're wrapping up what we have done in this paragraph and we're trying to tie some things together with transitions. All right, here's one more example from Buddy the Elf. Although those around him mock his love for sugar and incessant singing, these qualities fuel Buddy the Elf's love for life, and ultimately this affects the lives of many characters. All right, so same idea here. We're summing up what we've just talked about, where other people mock him and his qualities, but these ultimately affect the lives of many others. So this paragraph probably focused on some of these strengths, these underappreciated strengths, and why they were important, why they matter. And then this probably is going to set this writer up for their next body paragraph, which is going to talk more specifically about how these strengths affect the people around him. So that's how we bring these ideas together. This has a transition word here of although. Again, sometimes your transition is going to be a phrase and sometimes it's just one word, but we want to try to be connecting ideas through those transitions, especially in places like this, like the concluding sentence. All right, so hopefully you found this video helpful in going over topic sentences or claim sentences and how to set up your body paragraphs with a strong topic sentence, and then how to conclude that body paragraph well with a strong concluding sentence or a link to what you're doing in your next body paragraph. Thanks so much.